So Phil, Bill stepping in to do the post-match interview today. You can guarantee you're not getting a tough one from me, but 0-0 at Dorking, a scrappy game, but 1 point and one step nearer the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. It was always going to be a difficult game. Dorking fighting for their lives. Mark White's really had them revved up today, really motivated. This pitch makes it difficult to play with any fluidity, and especially the way they pressed. And another really niggly game which I didn't like, but ultimately you've got to accept that. These are, as I said, they're scrapping for their lives to stay in the league, so we shouldn't have expected anything less, really.
And yeah, so with Oldham not beating Rochdale, they can't catch us. It's becoming more and more of a reality that the playoffs are coming our way. I
hope so, but on that showing we've got to do better away from home in terms of first half performance. The performances have been great of late. That one wasn't up to the levels that we've been used to seeing the last couple of games, but ultimately, as I said before, they were always going to make it a difficult game for us to get any kind of fluidity, any kind of forward momentum, and I expect us to do a little bit better, but I'm certainly not going to sniff at a 0-0 away from home at Dorking, who are scrapping for their lives.
Yes, indeed. 2 games to go from here. Ebbsfleet next Saturday, and then Oxford City at home for the final game of the season. But once again, the way we came forward today, and when we attacked with intent, you could hear the crowd, the Alti fans who were here today, get behind the club. Oh,
they were exceptional again, weren't they? Really proud of how many of them have turned up. Helped the team immeasurably to get over the line, because we did have to weather a little bit of pressure from corners, throw-ins, but we'd worked on that. We knew what the strengths were, and then we had our own moments as well. I think their keepers made a point-blank save from Lewis Baines, which another day flies in, and we come away winning 1-0. But they certainly had their scrambles in the box like we did, and that's kind of how the game looked like it was going to be decided. But both teams weren't able to get that over the line today.
Well, yes, if you compare it to the game at Boreham Wood, where we did manage to get the ball in the back of the net, there were some similarities between that game and this game in terms of 2 teams looking to get something out of the game, but at the same time the home team being scared to lose because that would put them under a lot more pressure.
Yeah, I thought they were very good today. I thought they really got after us, as physical a Dorking team as I've seen. They really enjoy the contacts. I thought the referee let a lot go today. I'm really disappointed with the sending off. He said George has stamped on his foot. George Wilson's been kicked from pillar to post all game, like a number of our players have, with very little protection, and at the end of the game he decides to give out yellow cards and red cards like the lollipops. Give one of the guys on our bench one as well, which isn't something that you'd associate with us sort of going down to that level. So I wasn't happy with that as well. We've got to tidy up our act discipline wise on the bench and on the pitch, but that's never been a red card as in a game like that. It's got to have some kind of context. The ref, for him to give a stamp on the foot, I understand by the letter of the law they will call that violent conduct. It's certainly not violent conduct. George is probably fighting for his ground. The lad's probably giving one in a game like what you saw today. It was very niggly, and he's got to use common sense now. George is out to the end of the season probably if we do make the playoffs, misses the next playoff game, which is massively disappointing, and common sense could have prevailed there.
You have to question the tactics, because when Dorking played like this at Moss Lane and got Regan Linney sent off, what that meant was Regan missed 3 games against relegation clubs and came back fresh for this game. So it really did not benefit Dorking at all. And you look at it again today, if George is suspended for next weekend's game at Ebbsfleet, that does Dorking more harm than it does us.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about the tactics. I don't think it was that so much. I think they were desperate to get into us, get into our boots, make it really difficult for us. I expect that from a National League team who are fighting for their lives. I've got nothing but respect for what they've done here over the years, how far they've come. Ultimately, we've got to be better than that. We've got to rise above it and be stronger, but it needs a strong ref as well, and we've really been stung by that today. There was a number of yellows that could have been given to stem the flow of that. I'm not one who wants to see that, but there was a lot of fouls that warranted yellows today, and they weren't given, and then that red to be given when so many yellows were missing, it's really difficult to take, as you can tell by the way I'm struggling to put it over in this interview.
Well, I think if you look at how resilient we've been in defence today and in recent weeks at Kidderminster, and at Boreham Wood, particularly away from home, what you're seeing is, and many people just think of us as a flair side, but there is a stiff backbone to this team as well.
Yeah, really steely, determined team. And that's why you get the nil-nils that we've had. Well, we haven't had many nil-nils, have we? But clean sheets, I should say. We've had a number of clean sheets this season. People keep talking about our front line. I know Mark referenced it in his interview prior to our game, saying how our front four are the reason we are where we are. It's not. Our back five, back six, with Ethan behind them, is why we are where we are. Front lines win your games, absolutely. Defences win your championships, and that will be the question mark. Is our defence good enough to get us over the line this season? They've showed many times that they are.
So my historical, I'm always one for the historical note. My historical note is, the last time we had our last away game of the season at Ebbsfleet, we won the league at Ebbsfleet. So our last away game of the league in the league season this season is also at Ebbsfleet. It would be absolutely brilliant to clinch a place in the playoffs, and we are literally one game away from doing that.
I think so. So hopefully history repeats itself. I know you're that Alti historian, Bill, so I'll certainly take your word for that. And as we said, hopefully it can repeat itself. Hopefully our fans can come and get behind us again. I know it's a massive ask, and as I said, I do appreciate the travel, the finance that goes into it, and hopefully we're giving them that season where it's all been worthwhile.